for this week's prep and data, we're swapping secret messages around. So you can see from our input here that we have this gibberish sentence coming through. So if we just go into our first input, our first cleaning step, sorry, then the way that I chose to split this out into its individual characters is, first of all, I worked out the length of this string, and there are 23 characters in this string. That's just the function len, meaning length. So that's nice and easy. And then I used the scaffold. So the scaffold is just the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 23. So that's nice and simple. So the way that I scaffolded that to get it there to be a row for each character is just by saying that our length has to be greater than or equal to the scaffold. And therefore that creates a row for each of these numbers in the scaffold because they're all greater than, less than or equal to 23. So that's nice. Now we've got our 23 rows. Now something that I haven't used much before. I was wondering, I was kind of like, look, I've got this positioning. Basically, I want, for this string here, I want to return just the number in that position. So how do I go about that? And that's where the mid function comes in. And I'd never really used the mid function before, so let's type it in over here. So you can use the mid to just return everything after a certain character. So here you can see that it would just return from the 9th character, which is S, all the way to the end. Or you can set the length as well. So for this one, it's saying from the 2nd character, but then only 4. So for us, we can use our mid function on our encrypted message. We can say what character we want it to start at, which is our scaffold position. And then we can just have a length of 1. So that gives us each character individually split out into the different rows. And you can see that it starts here with the Q, which is what it should be starting with, and it should finish with a P down here, which it does. So that's great. That's done exactly what we wanted it to do, basically. Because now we can bring in our cipher. Our cipher is basically just giving us the ordinary alphabet, and the cipher is what that, it is in code. That's the letter A is an E in code. So that's nice and simple. We just join that. So we join the encrypted value onto the cipher. And the important thing here is that obviously if we're just joining on an inner join, we're going to lose all the spaces. If we see here, then we lose all of our spaces, which we want to keep because naturally they're important in our sentence making sense still. So we do a left join so that we keep all of those spaces as well. And then we come through to here where we've just kept our scaffold, so our number, our positioning of the letter in our sentence. That's what our scaffold field is at the moment, and we've got that alphabet field, which is the decoded values. We can see that frustratingly our spaces are coming through as nulls at the moment, so we're just going to double click on that, do a space in there, and turn those back into spaces, because otherwise, Tableau is not going to know what character that's supposed to be, so we kind of have to just tell it, which is useful. It's not very handy how it's messed up our ordering. It's sorting it down here by the alphabet rather than by the numbers. But I can't see. Sorry, I've just realized that I've duplicated that change over there. Fine. Yeah, it's just frustrating that it's not sorting by the scaffold anymore. It's sorting by the alphabet. But to be honest, it's not really an issue because we know that it's numbered in the right order. So we can work with it. So now we're going to want to start reshaping it back into a sentence. How do we do that? If I just get rid of these for a second to build it with you, then basically I want my new headers to be the scaffold numbers so that our values are the alphabet values. So the headers are these ones. Oh, whoops, it's not going to like doing it now because, okay, because the flow afterwards is already built. So that's fine. We just bring in the scaffold as we say, and then wouldn't it be great here if we had the option to just concatenate and then not have to be grouping by these, but it's not possible to do at this moment in time, so we're just going to take the minimum here. and then we have all of our letters. I mean, they're still not in the right order because they're not ordering by, 1, 2, 3, 4, like we would like them to, but we can see that it's starting to spell something out. But we don't want any spoilers, we want to wait till the end. So basically, all that's left to do now is to create a disgusting calculated field where we add together all of the values in order. Now, did I sit there and write this out? No, I did not. I went to my trusty Excel, which I'm almost ashamed to admit that that's what I did. But basically, I had my numbers 1 to 23, doing the whole, when you have, 1, 2, then you highlight and drag down to get the rest of the numbers. Easy. And then I use the concatenate function to add those square brackets around each of those values. So in Excel, you just need to have your square brackets in little hyphens. No, they're not called hyphens. Quote marks, that's the ones. And a comma between the values that you want to have. And that's nice and easy. Just wrote it there once and then dragged it down, which again, nice and easy. And my trusty concatenate came in again later, but for here, I just made sure that that was equal to that cell there. And then for this one is the cool one, I think. We're using concatenate and we're saying have the value above plus plus in quote marks the value to the left. And then that starts off just adding each number individually. And it's just really boring to write out that whole long string yourself, because then we can just copy and paste that into Tableau Prep and it's not an issue. We have our message all concatenated back together. And then if we just keep only that field and output it, then cool. The secret message was prep in data is awesome. Who knew? Hopefully that was a fun challenge this week, quite quick and simple, but some things to think about there, I think. So I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.